Now, before we get started, I just want to take some time to appreciate my dedication to this video. I mean, like, seriously. I've revised this script so many times. And just when I thought I was done, here comes another doozy of a game like Redfall. But this is it. I'm not changing this shit anymore. Let's talk about some of the worst games to come out in 2023 so far. Cue the intro. Forspoken. I apologize. I mean, you're still a garbage game, but you're not the worst game on this list, which is why you're at number 5.
One day later.
So I had to stop my recording because my wife and kids got home, and ain't no production happening when they're in the house. But anyways, let's get back into it. Now, Forspoken was one of those games that I was slightly excited for when I first saw it, but the more we got to the release date, the more my excitement died.
This game sucks.
And honestly, I gave the game the old college try, but I just couldn't get past the initial parts of the story. I thought the dialogue sucked, the setup was poorly executed, and the gameplay left much to be desired. In my opinion, it kind of looked like a cheap Final Fantasy knockoff with edgy dialogue. And I do stress edgy in ear quotes. Now, if the user score was anything to go by on Steam, it was for sure a mixed bag, but I was definitely not alone when it came to my thoughts on the game, with one user putting the game akin to burning your money. Yeah, and another user who played the game for over 21 hours and basically had the exact same complaint I did. And I only played this game for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, bro. So take with that what you will. But I'll say this, if you're still interested in getting the game, wait until it goes on sale. It's definitely not worth it full price. Now, this is one of the games I never played because, no. In a game filled with a star-studded cast of C-list celebrities, and that's me being kind, Crime Boss looks absurd and over the top in a Saints Row Grand Theft Auto kind of way, done in a payday format, but they just couldn't seem to pull it off as well as those guys did. And I don't mean the last Saints Row, I mean Saints Row prior to this. The gameplay looks incredibly repetitive. There are also multiple reports of bugs. For instance, character models not loading properly or floating guns. The AI is dumb. Can I even say dumb on YouTube? Like, I don't even know what I can and can't say anymore. I've watched a ton of gameplay and everything just seems like busy work with no real payoff. I didn't even mention that the enemies are super bullet spongy. It was very annoying to watch, so I'm pretty sure it was very annoying to play as well. All in all, the game was absolutely atrocious and still not the worst game on this list. Now, one concern many gamers had was a lack of polish of this game. Redfall looked as if it was released in an unfinished state. It was plagued with a bunch of issues and very poor graphics. During my playthrough, I encountered glitches. Wouldn't necessarily say they were game breaking, even though I've heard other people say they encountered glitches like that. The combat felt very unresponsive. It was very poor, which just messed with the overall gameplay. Something I was really disappointed in as well was the lack of variations to stories. I feel like the missions were very repetitive. There was a lot of pressure riding on Arcane this time around, and they just didn't deliver, especially coming off of the game like Deathloop. The map was kind of weird, though it didn't really bother me, but I know a lot of people had complaints about the map. Enemy encounters were also very dull. Ultimately, Redfall failed to live up to the standards we've all come to expect from an Arcane Studios game, but whether or not it tarnishes its legacy, I'm not really sure. I've even heard reports of an executive at Arcane saying that they actually hope that Xbox would have canceled the game when they absorbed the company. So I don't know what really happened behind the scenes, but regardless, Redfall was a dookie game. Wanted Dead completely flew under my radar, and for good reason. Let's start with the story. Now, the story of Wanted Dead is unnecessarily convoluted, and the voice acting. The voice acting is one of the worst I've ever heard in a video game in a long time. It just felt like the actors didn't know what emotions to give off at any given time, so they just kind of winged it. The combat was semi-decent, but after a while it became super repetitive because of the limited skill tree upgrades. Enemy AI was pretty lackluster. In fact, it was very one-note. And this is something you would not expect from the guys that brought you Ninja Gaiden, bro. I think that's where the biggest disappointment came from, because fans expected more from the studio, you know? This game would probably fared a little bit better had it come out in like the early 2000s when super quirky, over-the-top games reigned supreme. But as it stands for right now, this game sucks. Now, everyone absolutely hated this game. IGN 4, Game Informer 3.5, Metacritic 1.1 user score. And I won't even tell you what Kotaku rated the game. I'll just leave you with their title. 2023 worst game, Gollum has entered the chat. Bro, listen. For one, I want to know whose idea was it to create a video game based on one of the most despicable characters in the Lord of the Rings lore. I couldn't even believe this was a next-gen game. The graphics was hideous. Second, can anyone tell me what they were going for with the character design? Because I'm still trying to figure that out. Gollum wasn't a cute character by any stretch of the imagination, but this made him look way worse. Playing this game, I was reminded of a better stealth-driven story in Styx, Masters of Shadows, which did have its own issues, but was a better game than what we got from Gollum. And that was a 2014 game. I don't know anyone who thought this game was fun, and even if the premise was interesting enough to get people in, and they could have done something to justify this game's existence, but what we got was pretty much shit. But with that said, what are some games that you guys played this year that you think deserve to be on this list? Comment below and let me know. Also, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. The name of the game right now for me is to be more consistent, bro. Recently, I've been uploading a lot more live stream highlights to the channel because my life's gotten a little bit more hectic now, but I still am dedicated to the channel. If you want to check out one of my more recent videos, that should be popping up on screen right now. Thank you guys for watching. It's been your boy Dre, and like always, play on, play up. Peace.